Welcome back from the short commercial break, and this is Smart 24, where it's all about driving business. And this is Financial Markets with me, Julius Nsubuga, and also my colleague, Marcelino, who comes up with the trading dawn and about Forex. And I take you through the world of finance and banking and also the stock market and how many of these markets are basically performing. And right away, we're going to be actually now looking at a few global market indices. These are basically market trackers of stock markets and how they are basically performing. And as you can see right here, and this is courtesy of basically Reuters indices. So you can see right here that so much is basically going on as we speak right now. And as of this morning, it's basically indicating here that through the Reuters Market Watch, it's indicating here that the global the Dow Jones Industrial Average is basically up right now by 0.80%. That's quite something. And thus indicating a 274.17 points upward. So that's the Dow Jones Industrial Average as of today morning. The Nasdaq Composite, of course, nothing much has yet been reported, and we're going to see that happening. We are going to see much of that live update just right in the next segment. If you may have a look at the New York Stock Exchange Composite Index, nothing much, of course, has been also reported, but the S&P 500 is indicating here, as of Reuters, that you have a 1.17 points gain as of this morning, and thus a 51.45 points gain. So that is the S&P 500 as of this morning. So it basically is up. It's basically now, right now, it's shooting up, and I think it is quite something interesting to watch all throughout the day. Then the S&P Canada Composite Index is basically showing here that, well, you have a 0.22 points upward trend, and thus indicating a 47.25 points gain in the value of the stocks on average of those companies that are being tracked by the S&P Canada. So you have here also the FTSE 100 index from Great Britain. It's indicating here that as of this morning, you have the stocks right there on average up by 0.26%, indicating a 19.39 points gain. And well, that's quite something as well to know. So many of these markets, the S&P 500 USA, and you can see here the S&P Canada and also the Great Britain, you can see an upward trend in the value of the stocks just right over there. If you may turn with me to Euro Stoxx 50. Euro Stoxx 50 is basically a it's a European index tracking down 50 best performing companies in Europe. And you can see here that nothing much of an activity has also been reported. But of course, as the day goes by, you just never know what happens. So much of this information will be displayed as the day goes by. So if we may go down just to have a look at other indices, probably from Asia, as of this morning, before we get to the live one, we're just trying to track and see how these companies are basically performing as of close of Friday, and we have seen now how they're performing as of today, with many of these indices so far gaining. And well, we haven't seen probably a loss this morning, but let's see what happens down. So if we may go down, we may have a look at other indices like like the DAX. The DAX, nothing much has come through as well, according to Reuters. CAC 40, nothing much. And the IBEX 35 from Spain, nothing much has come through. But if we may turn to the Nikkei stock average 225, the Nikkei is basically tracking down 225 best performing public listed companies from Japan. It's indicating here that probably you have a 0.65% gain in the value of the stock, thus indicating a 174.54 points gain in the value of the stocks, and so that are being basically tracked by the Nikkei 225. That's a very important index. If you may turn with me to the Hang Seng Index, it's indicating here that basically you have stocks right there down by about 1.07%, and thus indicating a 229.31 points loss as we speak right now this morning. This is as of this morning. So you have the Hang Seng Index from Hong Kong, tracking down those companies from Hong Kong. It's on a downward trail right now as we speak. So if we may also look at the Australian All Ordinaries Index, it's basically showing as of this morning that the stocks right there being tracked by the All Ordinaries Index is indicating that probably you have a 0.16% loss in the value of the stocks right there, and thus indicating a 12.30 contraction in the 12.30 points contraction. So you have the Shanghai Composite as of this morning is indicating that, well, you have the stocks up by 0.08%, that's indicating a 2.61 points gain. That's quite something as well to know. That's from Shanghai, mainland China, and that's a very important index if you're trying to look at the China markets. So it's a very important index to really put on your, to just keep insight. If you may have a look at the S&P BSE Sensex, the Sensex from India is indicating as of this morning a 0.91% gain in the value of the stock, thus indicating a 525.22 points gain. And that's quite, sorry, I beg your pardon, the Sensex India is down by 0.91%, and thus indicating a 525.22 points loss in the value of the stock, just right there in India. So in India, Australia, and Hang Seng, you're seeing markets down right now as we speak, as of this morning. But let's have a look at the live chart right now from MarketWatch, our next page, so we can see probably what is what's happening right over there. So MarketWatch is also a very important, it's a very important market to watch because it really gives us a very good glimpse on what is really happening. So if we may have a look at the markets, just right there in the top corner, just right there in the top corner, you can have a look at the markets, the market indices, and how they're basically performing, MarketWatch. So basically, many of these markets, as you will actually see, well, they're very, very volatile, most especially global ones, all across the globe. So if we may have a look at the MarketWatch and the other indices, just right in the top corner, we can see probably in the top corner, just up in the top corner, you have many of these companies right there. So, yes, just right over here, you can see a bit of a live coverage of all these markets. So it's a very important market to watch as well. So if you're talking about live coverage of markets, MarketWatch is a very good companion if you want to have a look at those live markets. So right now here there's a bulletin saying that Berkshire Hathaway strikes $11.6 billion deal for reinsurer Allegheny. So that is quite something as well. So Berkshire Hathaway is a very, very important company in the US because it's owned by one of those billionaires, Warren Buffett, but it's quite a very good performer on the stock market. Right here, if you may have a look at some of these stocks, these are live figures by MarketWatch, and you can see here that the Dow Jones is basically up by 0.80%, just about that figure right now as we speak, and that's indicating a 274.17 gain in the value of the stocks. That's the Dow Jones, the 30 best performing publicly listed companies in the United States. And that is the Dow Jones. It's up by 0.80% and 274.17 points upwards. That's quite something. So if you may also have a look at the S&P 500, is up by 1.17%, thus indicating a 51.45 gain in the value of the stocks right there by the S&P 500. Remember that S&P 500 is a very important index because it's tracking down 500 best performing public listed companies in the United States. So the S&P 500 is a very important index and a very prestigious index, most especially when investors want to really invest, they look at it because it is one of those really very, very dependable indices. So it's up by 1.17%, just about that right now. So the markets is a Monday. They're not that much fragile, but they're changing. These are live figures as we speak right now. So if you may have a look at the Nasdaq index, it's indicating an upward trend that it's indicating that stocks are up by 2.05% on average by the Nasdaq index. So it's up by 2.05%, thus indicating a 279.06 points gain. So that's quite something as well to know. So this is a very it's a very good gain as well. 2.05, not bad really. So you have the global Dow. The global Dow is we actually saw it this morning. It was basically a bit down, but now it's beginning to gain as the day goes by. So we can see that it is now up by 0.11%. The global Dow is basically by the Dow Jones, tracking down global companies. So it's a very important index, tracking down global companies and how they're in the stock market. So it's showing here that it's up by 0.11%, just around that figure. So that is the global Dow. If you may have a look at some of these commodities like gold and oil, well, gold, the price of gold is down by 0.23%. That's indicating that's indicating a 4 points loss in the price of gold, so bring it to about 1,925.10. So we've been seeing this gold. Well, gold has really gained in the past few weeks. The price of gold has gained in the past few weeks. Can't be the same again. And now we can see it at 1,900, having been at about 1,500 at this time last month. So right now it's at 1,900. So this is indeed quite something. So when you also have a look at oil, having a look at oil right here, it's the price of oil is basically up by about 3.3%, just playing around that figure, and is basically also up by about 3.7 points up. So thus bringing it to about $108.4 per barrel. That is the price of oil. That's oil. So it is a very important thing to basically note there. So it is up right now by 3.4, just about that figure, 3.4%. That's the price of oil. If we may turn to now Europe and also see what's happening just right over there in Europe, just right here, you can also see that, well, if you may turn to Europe, you may see that the markets there are also quite interesting to watch, as many of these stocks are up and basically, oh, they're showing some signs of recovery and also bouncing back. So let's just see as the day goes by. But anything can basically indeed affect the markets at any one point in time. So you have the FTSE 100. It's basically up right now by 0.49%. The FTSE 100 is tracking down 100 best performing public companies in the Great Britain, and you can see here that much of this stock is up. On average, the stock is up by 0.49%, just around that figure, so indicating a 36.18 points gain in the value of the stock. That is the FTSE 100. So the DAX, if you may have a look at the DAX right now, the DAX is basically also up by 0.06%, and that's indicating a 7.95 or probably a 6 and above points gain. So the DAX is from Germany and is tracking down best public listed companies in Germany, the best performing companies in Germany. So the DAX is a very important index to watch. If you may now turn to France through the CAC 40, the CSC 40 is indicating that probably you have the stock right there, the stock value up by 0.12%. That is for Europe, just right here in Europe. You have the stock price. You have the stock price up by about 0.12%, indicating a 7.91 points gain. That's the CSC 40 from France that is tracking down 40 best performing public listed companies in France. So if you may have a look at the IBEX 35 from Spain, of course, right now as we speak, it is up by about 0.2% and also by about 20 points upwards. So that's also quite something to watch. Stock 600, tracking down 600 companies in Europe. So you can see right here that you have about, this indicating that probably you have an upward trend of about 0.10%. So on average, the stocks are gaining there by about 0.1%, and thus indicating a 0.5 points gain. So that's quite also something. So in Europe, you can see that all the indices are basically upwards, but of course not by so much of a big margin, say like in the US, where you have a 2 point, where stocks are running by about 2% and above, but here you have about, they're ranging from about 0.1 up to about 0.7. So not much of a big change like in the US, but we can say for now that there is some bit of there's some bit of an expectation of a good performance all throughout the day. So in Asia, just right over here in Asia, you can see right there that the story is a bit different. You have a few indices showing that probably you have some of them, half of them are losing, half of them are gaining. So beginning with the Asia Dow, the Dow Jones index in Asia is tracking down those companies in Asia. So it's basically indicating here a downward trend of about a loss of about 0.62%, and that is indicating that's being represented by about 21.7 points loss in the value of the stocks right there that are being tracked by the Asia Dow. Now, in Japan, the story is a bit different. In Japan, through the Nikkei 225, stocks are up by 0.65% and thus up by 174.54 points. That's quite something. In Hong Kong, the story is a bit different. The stocks are down as we speak, just right now. So they're down by about 0.89%, that's indicating a 191.06 points lost. And so that is the Hang Seng from Hong Kong. That's the performance of the market in Hong Kong. So in Shanghai, the story is different. The stocks are up by 0.08%, and thus indicating a 2.61 points gain in the value of the stocks right there from Shanghai. So from Shanghai, the stories are a bit different. So stocks markets are a bit slightly up. So in India, through the Sensex index, you can see here that so the Sensex is indicating here that probably you have stocks down by about 0.98%. Singapore, you can see there that the story is different. Stocks are up by 0.75%. So in Asia, you can see that in Asia, the Asia Dow and in Hong Kong and also in India, stocks are down, while in Japan and also in Shanghai and Singapore, stocks are a bit up. And basically that's it for the stocks in Asia. So we can't really exit this point because time is almost up, but however, you can have a look. That's a very good glimpse on how the markets are performing all across the world. In America, you have markets a bit up. In Europe, you have the markets a bit down. And also in Asia, you have 50-50. Some of the markets are up, some of them down, especially in Japan, Shanghai, and Singapore, where markets are up. And of course, in Hong Kong and India, where markets are down. So that's it with some of the latest updates regarding the stock markets globally. So stay tuned even tomorrow as we bring you the best of business broadcasting and also through financial markets as we bring you the best of forex trading and also banking and finance and as well the stock markets. So we'll see you tomorrow, same time. Have a good day. Julius and Subuga, Smart 24.